Welcome in this lesson. As we can see there, we have a question on biology. So this is 2025 internal biology question 1. This is paper 2. So question 1 reads, figure 1 illustrates examples of characteristics of living things. So here we have F, G, and also we have H. So these are the characteristics of living things that have been illustrated on these three diagrams. Okay, so let's observe these three diagrams as we answer the questions that follows. Question A, which diagram in this figure 1 illustrates growth? So which diagram in this figure illustrates growth? Okay, so now which diagram is that? Okay, as we can see, this one is showing a baby. This one is showing what is happening here, and we also have diagram H. So now which one is showing growth? As you can see, diagram H, here we have birth, then there's 2.5 years, and then there is 5 years. Automatically, from birth up to 5 years, a lot has changed. So meaning this person has grown. So the one which is depicting growth here is the diagram H. So our answer is H. Then 2, the diagram which represents reproduction. Okay, the diagram which represents reproduction. This question was a bit ambiguous in a way that diagram F, it shows reproduction. Even G shows reproduction happening in the root tubers. But the clear diagram which shows a clear indication of reproduction is diagram F. So here our answer is diagram F. But even G shows reproduction. It's just not clearly illustrated. So our answer is diagram F. And then the one which shows nutrition. The one which shows nutrition, automatically here our only option is G. So diagram G, it's the one that is representing nutrition. Okay, we proceed. Question B, name 2 other characteristics of living things that are not illustrated in this figure. So they want us to write 2 characteristics of living things that are not illustrated here. So there is an abbreviation. Let me try to write it here, which we're supposed to know. Mr. Green. Okay. So this is the characteristics of living organisms. So we have movements, we have reproduction, we have growth, respiration, excretion, we have feeding or nutrition, we have sensitivity, we have cells. So all living organisms, they possess all these characteristics. Movements, organisms, they are able to move. Reproduction, organisms are able to reproduce. Growth, they are able to growth. Respiration, excretion, all living organisms, they are able to do all these characteristics: movements, reproduction, growth, respiration, excretion, nutrition, as well as the irritability or sensitivity. So here, the one which is not illustrated, the one which we are going to write here is movement. It's movement. So movement is not illustrated here. So we have movement. The other one which is not illustrated here is the excretion. So excretion is also not illustrated. So we have movement and also we have excretion, which is not illustrated here. So like I've explained to say, the characteristics of living thing or living organisms, we have movement, we have reproduction, we have growth, we have respiration, excretion, nutrition, and also we have sensitivity. Okay, so we have just picked movement and excretion out of all the ones I've mentioned. All right, state two components of life processes. State two component of life processes, which makes up metabolism. So the two life processes which makes up metabolism, we have what we call as the anabolism, which is also known as anabolic reaction. So we have anabolism. So this is anabolism, and we also have catabolism. So these are the two life processes. So we have anabolism and we also have catabolism. Anabolism is a build-up reaction where small complex molecules, they are put together to form a big or a large complex molecule that is called the anabolism. So in short, anabolism is just build up, while catabolism, it is breakdown. Catabolism is where a large complex molecule is broken down into simpler ones. Examples of catabolism, we have things like respiration, also we have digestion. Respiration is a catabolic reaction because a large complex, which is glucose, will be broken down to release carbon dioxide, water, and the energy. So respiration is an example of a catabolism. And then anabolism, an example there we can depict is photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is anabolic reaction, while as respiration is a catabolic reaction. Okay, we proceed. Give one example of a living thing. Give one example of a living thing. You know, there are a lot of living things that we have in this world. So they just want us to name one example of a living thing. Okay, so we are going to say plants. Plants, they are examples of living things. Even animals, they are examples of living things. So even if you write animals, it's an answer. If you write plants, it's also an answer. They are examples of living organisms, and these living organisms, they undergo all the characteristics of living things. We have movements, excretion, and those other characteristics of living organisms that I gave out. What of or non-living organism? So non-living thing, an example we can give of a non-living thing, it's a rock. So a rock qualifies to be an example of a non-living thing. A rock. So a living thing, we have plants, animals. Non-living things, we have a rock there. So now, living organisms, they are organisms that possess all the 7 characteristics of living things. Things like movement, reproduction, growth, respiration, excretion, nutrition, as well as sensitivity. But non-living organisms, they do not possess these characteristics of living